JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F125. And as you can see by the title of today's video, we are going to be discussing the latest patch, which is 1.06, the sixth patch in the F125 series. And there's been a few discussions regarding this patch due to some of the notes of it, which you can access through AA, through their Twitter, or on their website. One of the main things to note is a change in the front ride height, a minor change to the front ride height. They don't actually say what this change actually is, they just say they've changed it. And also the floor effect in terms of how the car is scraping against the floor, so you won't be hearing that bottoming out effect, which can be annoying at times. I can give them that. But a lot of people I spoke to, there's kind of a division where some people say there's quite a big difference in terms of the handling itself of the game, and then there's some other people who say there isn't really a difference at all. So I thought I would just come on and actually test this. I'll just be giving you my opinion and what my thoughts are, and would I recommend any changes in terms of the setup, the way you're driving, moving forward in the game. And I'm doing Brazil here and Silverstone. Did some open lobbies last night as well, which I did stream just to have a bit more of a test on the patch. When I did the pre-season race around here at Brazil, which I won, the setup was very good, and this setup is actually still exactly the same. I do notice a little bit from this patch. You can see we do a 7-0, although I felt like this qualifying lap was much better than I did in my pre-season race, because we didn't have much practice. One thing I have noticed is I feel you could be a lot more aggressive with your inputs, and with the front ride height, this adjustment, whatever adjustment they have made, I feel when you're lowering the ride height, that will give you a little bit more downforce. So I did tweak a couple of setups here. So on the Silverstone laps, I was tweaking it from my original setup that I have in my Discord. Since this video, I have actually updated that to this setup I'm running here, because I did lower the front ride height a little bit, and also the wings. I think you could be a little bit more aggressive in terms of how far apart the wings actually are. So what I'm noticing with this patch so far is the game is maybe slightly quicker. I'd say maybe like a tenth or two quicker, at least for me, this way what it feels like at the moment. That could be down to just the setup and you're being allowed, and you can see, so examples going through here, the car definitely seems to be a lot more responsive, wanting to rotate, but it is also more forgiving at the same time. So I think you can actually really attack the corners quite a lot more, and even if the back end is sliding out, because you've got this ride height and the downforce from the ride height, which kind of glues the car to the track, I feel like you can actually recover the car a lot more, so you could be quite a bit more aggressive on the throttle. And when you're steering into corners, you saw that on my Brazil lap as well, when I was coming into the Sector 3, the first corner of Sector 3, I was really hustling the car through there. And you saw from Maggots and Beckett's in this previous lap, I was really throwing the car into there. And the old one, or the old patch, or the previous build before this, pretty certain I probably would have lost the car going through there. So I did test this for a number of hours. Again, some people might not really feel the effects that much. For me personally, the game does feel a little bit faster, and even when I was using my existing setups, just felt like you could be a bit more forceful with the inputs, so really attacking the corners a bit more, and then the back end isn't going to come round on you absolutely straight away. So you can see through here, losing the car quite easily. So we'll actually go do an instant replay, a little bit of a cheat code here. This is something I've been doing when I've been practicing qualifying, just to get myself a little bit more up to speed. And again, just really attacking these corners. So I'm really trying to be super aggressive on the throttle. See how early we are to this 100% here. And yeah, with this setup here, which I have uploaded in my Discord now, again, click the join button, you'll get access to all my setups. And if you ever want to ask me a question, that is definitely the best place to be. But yeah, I think you can be a bit more aggressive with the wings on how far apart they are, and with the suspension, with the roll bars, being quite more aggressive there, generate a lot more rotation through the suspension than you did previously. But again, I think running a little bit of a lower ride height just sucks the car into the track, gives you that more downforce effect. And going through here, you'll be able to see, if we use Maggots and Beckett's, see the car is kind of really sliding through here, but the back end isn't actually going anywhere, so it feels like you would lose it. And I think on the previous build, you could actually lose it quite easily. Do I prefer this? Not really too sure at the moment. I think we'll have to be playing it a little bit more. I do feel there is somewhat of a small difference, not an absolutely huge difference. I don't think you need to be changing the setups drastically. My old setups and some of my setups for other tracks are still working very well, perfectly fine. But I think you could potentially be a little bit more aggressive in terms of where you generate the rotation through the ride height, through the suspension, and how far apart you are putting the wings. But again, I have all my setups in my Discord. If you want access to those, I actually update them on a very regular basis. So hopefully this was useful to you. Wouldn't really overthink it too much. Not too much has changed. I think the game is really just a little bit more forgiving than it was before. But those are my thoughts, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.